Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Nazarian here for reading lesson number 10. Today we're going to be reading this familiar fairy tale, The Three Little Pigs. I bet you've read this before, or maybe you've heard this read to you. This is a story about three pigs and the big bad wolf. You remember that? Yeah, I thought you did. So in our previous lessons, we've been talking about characters. In this book, it'll be the three little pigs and the big bad wolf. I think that the mother is a minor character, and there are also some farmers that are minor characters. We've also been talking about setting, where and when a story takes place. You'll see that the setting changes throughout this story. Today we're going to be talking about plot. What is plot? You may not have heard that before. The plot are the events that make up a story. It's basically what's happening in a story. So we're going to read this thinking about plot. The Three Little Pigs by Barry Moser. Once upon a time, when animals could talk the same as people, three little pigs lived with their mother in a forest. It was Valentine's Day when Big Mama Pig said, "It's time for you to go out in the wide world to seek your fortune. But remember, beware of the big bad wolf." Then she kissed them all around, and the three little pigs set out on their travels, each taking a different road. The first little pig hadn't gone far before he met a man carrying a bundle of straw. "Please," asked the pig, "will you give me some of that straw to build a house?" "Why, certainly," replied the man, and he gave the pig a big bundle. No sooner had the little pig finished the house than a wolf came along, knocked on the door, and said, little pig, let me in." But the little pig just laughed and answered, "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." Then the wolf said loudly, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in because it was only straw. Then the wolf ate up the little pig and didn't leave so much as the tip of his curly tail. Ooh. Okay, so let's think about the plot. So far, there are three brothers. They grew up and their mom said, "It's time for you to have a place of your own." They leave mom, and the first one runs into a guy with a big bundle of straw, and he said, "Hey, can I have that? I want to build a house of it." He does, and then the wolf comes and blows it down. Those were the events that happened so far. The second little pig also met a man, and this man was carrying a bundle of wood. "Please," said this pig politely, "will you give me some wood to build a house?" The man agreed, and the piggy set to work building himself a snug little house. It was scarcely finished when the wolf came along and said, little pig, let me in." No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," answered the pig. Do you see a pattern here in this story? Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. And so he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, and at last he blew the house in and gobbled the little pig right up. Oh, look at that. Bubba's no-cook barbecue sauce and pigga pepper sauce. Ooh, oh, is he wiping his mouth with a napkin? Are those pig bones? Oh boy, this looks like trouble. Now the third little pig met a man with a load of bricks and said, "Please, may I have some bricks to build a house?" The man agreed, and he also gave the pig some mortar and a trowel, and the little pig built himself a nice, strong little house. As soon as it was finished, the wolf came to call, just as he had done to the other little pigs, and said, Little pig, let me in." But the little pig answered, "No, no, no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then," said the wolf, "I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." Well, the wolf huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed and he huffed and he puffed, but he couldn't blow the house in. At last he had no breath left to huff and puff, so he sat down inside the little pig's house to think. Wait, I need to read that again. So he sat down outside the little pig's house to think. That makes more sense. Okay, so let's go over the plot. All right, so that first little pig, he built his house out of straw, and the wolf was able to blow it down. And then the second brother built his house out of sticks, which is maybe a little bit stronger, but not that much stronger. And the wolf came and knocked on the door, and he wouldn't answer, but the wolf decided to blow that house in. So then he goes to the third brother's house, which the third brother made his house out of bricks. And when the wolf tried to blow down his house, but he couldn't. So let's see what happens next. After a while, the wolf called out, "Little pig, I know where there's a nice field of turnips." "Where?" said the little pig. "Well, behind the farmer's house, 3 fields away. I'll meet you here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, and we'll go there together and get some breakfast." "All right," said the little pig. "I'll be ready." Well, the smart little pig got up at 5, scampered away to the field, and brought home a fine load of turnips before the wolf came. At 6 o'clock, the wolf came to the little pig's house and said, "Little pig, are you ready?" "Ready?" cried the little pig. "I've been to the field and back long ago, and now I'm busy boiling a pot full of turnips for breakfast." Ooh, that clever third pig. Well, the wolf was very angry indeed, but he made up his mind to catch the little pig some way or another. So he told him that he knew where there was a nice apple tree. "Where?" asked the little pig. "Well, around the hill in the orchard," the wolf said. "If you promise not to play any more tricks, I'll meet you here tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, and we'll go there and get some apples." Well, the next morning, the piggy got up at 4 o'clock and was gone long before the wolf came. But the orchard was a long way off, and besides, he had the tree to climb, which is not an easy matter for a little pig. So before he had filled the sack he brought, he saw the wolf coming toward him. Oh, do you see the wolf off in the distance? Yeah, and look, there's the piggy getting the apples. Now the little pig was dreadfully afraid, but he thought it better to try to outsmart the wolf. So when the wolf said, "Little pig, why are you here before me?" "Are they nice apples?" He replied at once, "Yes, very. I'll throw one down for you to taste." So he picked an apple and threw it as so far that while the wolf was running to fetch it, the pig had time to jump down and scamper away home. The next day, the wolf came again and told the little pig that there was going to be a fair in the town that afternoon and asked him if he wanted to go together. So the plot has changed. The wolf could not blow down the brick house, but now he's not giving up. He's trying to trick the third piggy. First, he tried to trick him to meet him to pick some turnips, but the pig got there early. Then he tried to trick him to meet him at the apple tree, but again, the pig got there early. But, the wolf thought that he might get there early, so he got there early too. He caught the pig in the tree, and that could have been big trouble. But the piggy picked an apple and threw it as far away as he could. And the wolf, while he was running after the apple, the piggy ran away. Whew, this is a lot of events making up this story, isn't it? It's a good plot. The little pig was... Oh, we read that one. "Oh, yes," said the pig. "I'll go to the fair with pleasure. What time will you be ready to start?" "At 3:30, said the wolf. Of course, the little pig started long before that, went to the fair and bought a fine, large butter churn made by the Huffin' and Puffin Churn Company. He was trotting away with it on his back when he saw the wolf coming. He didn't know what else to do, so he crept inside the churn to hide. But the churn started rolling, and down the hill it went, rolling over and over, with the little pig squealing inside. The wolf couldn't imagine what the strange thing rolling down the hill could be, so he turned tail in a fright and ran away home without going to the fair at all. Then he went to the little pig's house to tell him how scared he had been by a large round thing that came rolling past him down the hill. Laughed the little pig. "So I scared you, eh? I'd been to the fair and bought a butter churn. When I saw you, I got inside and rolled down the hill." This made the wolf so angry that he declared he'd jump down the chimney and eat up that little pig. Ooh, look at his face. He is angry. Maybe the piggy shouldn't have teased him like that. Let's see what happens next in this plot. But the clever little pig put a pot of water on the hearth and made a blazing fire. Just as the wolf was coming down the chimney, the pig took off the cover and in fell the wolf. In a second, the little pig had popped the lid on again. The little pig had wolf stew for supper, and after that he lived happily all his days and was never troubled by a wolf again. Oh, look at his slippers. So the ending ended up being big trouble for the wolf. But the piggy, it ended up being a happy ending for him. He was never troubled by a wolf again. Our next lesson, we're going to read a fractured tale of this traditional fairy tale A fractured tell is when an author takes a traditional story like The Three Little Pigs and changes it just a little bit. And this is what we're going to read next lesson. So I want you, in the next couple days, I want you to be thinking about plot in the stories that you're reading on your own. Ask yourself, what's happening in the story? A great way to practice plot is to tell your brother or sister or your parents, tell somebody what's happening in your story that you're reading. And you will be practicing telling the plot. Okay, until next time, have a great day.